What is magic? What exactly is it?
Wow. Yeah. What
I
it's
know.
like the most
Wow.
obvious question, but the hardest one. Well, I'd say ruling out the type of magic that I don't do is I don't
Mm.
do real magic. I believe real magic exists. You know, the synchronicities of life and coincidences, that things that feel like magic, right? I don't do that. That's too real. That's too hard to predict. You can't do that pass over at the drop of a hat. I do prestidigitation magic, which is the use of skills, sleight of hand, psychology, science, to exploit all those things to willingly fool you. You know it's not real. I'm telling you I'm going to do a trick that's going to fool you, and then I fulfill that promise. That's what magic is for me. To give you a temporary escape from reality.
That's amazing.
But your brand of magic, especially if anybody's watched you on Magic for Humans, your Netflix show, which was fantastic. If anybody hasn't watched it, it's one of my all-time favorites. You like to mix in psychology, kind of philosophy, poke at people's understandings and tell a story around it. It's not just walking up to somebody and slicing a pear open and there's a card inside. Clearly, you've got a broader concept of how you want to deliver your magic.
When I was a kid, trying to figure out what I wanted to be, I loved comedy first and foremost. Johnny Carson just had the greatest job ever. When you're a kid, like, you don't have any life experience to do comedy about for the most part, unless you've got some good bits about chores, but so when I discovered that a lot of my favorite comedians also started as magicians, like Johnny Carson and Steve Martin and Arsenio Hall. Magic was like their gateway. It's the perfect thing for a kid because you don't have to do jokes about life, or my wife, stuff that doesn't make sense. You're doing a magic trick. You can be funny in the context of that. So that's why I loved magic in the first place. I felt special. I was the only kid in my high school or junior high who did magic. Even like the best athletes were one of a team, or maybe there's the star wrestler. But when you're the only magician in the school, it's this extra glow that is alluring. I'm 42 now, but in my 30s, I finally now had like life experience or maybe some things to say or ponder or talk about. So that's, I think, when the magic became more interesting to me, to be about something. An incredible visual piece of magic doesn't need to be about something if it's beautiful, or amazing. But when it's about something, leaves people with a little something to chew on. Magic's like a metaphor. It's a way into exploring ideas. I think that people don't usually see magic as the way in. Penn and Teller do that a lot.
I'm finding myself watching you very closely because I'm like, okay, you see him coming. You know he knows how to make you see what he wants you to see. So watch him. Is that something that happens to you with people? Are they like really keeping a close eye on you most of the time?
In person, there is this expectation that a magic trick could happen at any moment. A lamb shank could appear at any moment. I don't know, something about the magician maybe my hand gestures. Audio only listeners, just know I'm gesturing a lot.
There's a lot of hands.
And it might be what when I'm not doing magic, it's my way of filling the space. I can't do a trick right now, so I'm just waving, I'm flailing. Maybe I flail elegantly. And maybe that's what it is. But yeah, people watch me. As a magician, you're very vulnerable. They know you're doing something sneaky. You know you're doing something sneaky. So they're watching extra. And you need to, knowing they're watch extra, make sure they don't see the thing they're not supposed to watch. But you only have two hands. It's in one of them. You're under a microscope.